Very heavy rainfall along with severe thunderstorm chances for the Gulf Coast states in the southeast throughout the course of this weekend into early next week. Then our focus changes to very heavy snowfall. An impactful duo of winter storms is on the way to crisscross the country, and it will have impact on livestock, especially cattle producers. Calving expected during the next week to 10 days. Let's get into the daily shower. Matt Makins here. Overall, for the next week, this is through Friday, look at the precip across the country. Most areas get some rain or snow this week. The southeast, there's Atlanta to Nashville. That bullseye's over 3 inches, but there's some heavier pockets of rainfall, which will be in the form of snow, but total precip, heavier pockets of total precip here, Colorado, New Mexico, Arizona. And then as you look toward the plains, quite a bit of water here as well. This precip over the next week will help the soil moisture situation for the central and southern plains, and it's going to add to the snowpack from Nebraska and Iowa northward. Let's just focus on the next 3 days before we get to the big duo of systems. Here's the precip for 3 days from Oklahoma City and Dallas up toward Omaha. Inch or so of total precip. The southeast, we have these pockets of the purples. That's 1.5 inches to 2 inches of total moisture. Again, throughout the weekend into early week, we're still watching for the risk of severe thunderstorms here, and we're watching the development of precip off to the west from 2 storm systems. And some of that precip is obviously going to be in the form of snowfall. Not much off to the east, the Appalachians and mid-Atlantic to New England. We'll have some snowfall here, but really kind of focusing in the 4 corners from storm number 1 and in the Pacific Northwest. As far as the 4 corners is concerned, this is through Tuesday. We're going to have pockets in Arizona, New Mexico, and southern Colorado that are already up to 10 to 12 inches of snowfall. Again, just through Tuesday. A second storm, much stronger one, will move in and thereafter. Let's fly into the northwest. As we go through Tuesday, the Cascades, very deep snows here, especially to the east of Seattle and Everett. We're going to be pushing 2 to 3 feet of total snowfall there in some of the mountain ranges. Missoula, the Rockies on down to the south, some pockets here of 1 to 2 feet of snowfall. That's just through Tuesday. So we've just been focusing on kind of Saturday, Sunday, Monday here on the calendar, but now we got to focus on the 14th, 15th, and 16th. Much larger impactor is going to be scooting across the country by that point. We've just so far in this video touched on the next 3 days, kind of the build up to the storm series. So let's take a look at where the storms are now and how they're both going to impact us as we go through the next several days. So let's just set the stage with where is our storm system. Actually, there's a pair of them. As we get in a little bit closer here, we're going to take a look here off the western U.S. coast. And you see this spin right in here? That's low pressure area number 1. That's going to be diving down to the south as so, throwing quite a bit of cloud cover up toward the Four Corners region, including Colorado, and then it's going to move off to the east. There's another storm system right here over the Gulf of Mexico that's throwing all of that water over the Gulf Coast states and the southeast, and the risk of severe weather there as well. As far as the week is concerned, let's zoom the map out and head up here to the north. This area is containing a lot of energy that's going to become a much stronger storm system. A lot of energy here will be diving down toward the Pacific Northwest and then into the Great Basin, Four Corners, and then ejecting out over the plains toward the Great Lakes. That is the main storm of question. It is a long ways away, so there are a number of unknowns, but here's a breakdown of what we know thus far. So as we look at computer models, and I'm using the site Tropical Tidbits here, great visuals, but let's watch. Here is storm number 1, down here across the southwest, and that was the one off of the California coast that I showed you on the satellite picture. As we go forward in time, it does create rain and snow from Colorado south through the central and southern plains, and then it becomes much stronger as it passes over Kansas and Nebraska. You can see that indicated here, throwing a lot more rainfall, some snow, but a warm system overall, so a lot of rain. And watch as that system continues to progress on up toward the Great Lakes. So it's not a non-factor. I mean, it's going to be carrying a substantial impact, wind and things, but it's going to be storm number 1. And it's going to be a bigger impactor for the plains and the Great Lakes and the upper Midwest. Storm number 2 is now moving through the Great Basin, and it's situated here. And that's the one out close to Alaska that I showed you on the satellite picture. Let's watch what happens with this one as we get into late Tuesday night, Wednesday morning, and go into Wednesday midday. Here we are, late Wednesday afternoon, and it's been throwing snow at Colorado and the plains, beginning to move into Kansas and Nebraska. Again, that's late Wednesday. Let's get into Thursday morning. and it is quickly moving off to the east at this point. But it's going to grab a lot of moisture for the East Coast, for the Southeast, the Gulf Coast states, and it's going to throw a lot of snowfall from Kansas, Nebraska, all the way up through the Midwest into the Great Lakes. The most impactful area in terms of winter type precip and temperatures I've highlighted here. This is a combination of snow and cold. I'm showing you this area because of livestock interests. From hog regions into the cattle and beef industry, we have to watch out for calving in these areas this week. Wet and then very cold. Let's talk about just in terms of snowfall. Where is the impactful snowfall going to be? Cascades, northern, central, southern Rockies this time, Four Corners region, potentially Santa Fe, Denver, and Cheyenne. And then from Oklahoma City over Kansas City to Omaha, Des Moines, including St. Louis, Chicago, Milwaukee, Detroit. These areas have the potential for very heavy snowfall as well as we go throughout this week. That'd be the 19th to the 22nd for the plains and the 18th through the 24th. If you're along the front range of the Rocky Mountains and the Central Plains, so Cheyenne down to about Santa Fe and Albuquerque, out toward Kansas City, Omaha, Des Moines. Both systems this week are going to generate a lot of wind. I'll provide that in just a moment. The position of the second system, the second one, the bigger one, is high correlation to impactful snow amounts to Denver, Cheyenne, Colorado Springs, Pueblo, Santa Fe, Raton, New Mexico. The ultimate position there is to be determined, so it's still an unknown, but the potential is there for a lot of snowfall. Temperatures, I'm only highlighting areas on this map throughout the course of the week that will cool off below 20 degrees. So if you're colorized with a blue shade on the map, and that's a huge chunk of the country, that's where temperatures will be in the teens, single digits, and potentially below zero. That's the cold coming through, following some of that moisture. Impactful wind areas, that's pretty much the entire country. I'd read the dates to you, but just plan on wind at some point. I'm here to provide the headlines to you in these daily showers to grab your attention, let you know what's coming your way. Some specifics, but mostly generalized, just so you know to be prepared for what weather is about to bring you. Matt Makins here. That's the data as I see it. Blessings to you and yours.